Hey, what's up you guys? You're watching Team APS. In today's video, I'm going to talk about etiquette in Yu-Gi-Oh! And what constitutes mine, what might constitute yours, how can these rules be broken. Let's talk about that. So etiquette. What are sort of the unspoken rules, the mannerisms, the politeness, the expectations that people carry into this game when you play, the things that you're just sort of expected to do, and it's just considered common courtesy, common respect, in game and out. And so what I'm going to basically be asking you guys at the end of this video is what constitutes your personal etiquette? And by extension, what peeves you? You know, what type of things do you hate seeing be broken? What things come off as disrespectful when a player does them? I think it's gonna be a really fun discussion. So, this video isn't particularly organized. I'm just sort of going to go off the dome with things that I think are, considered, I think would be common courtesy, and things that I think that are disrespectful and break that common courtesy. There are small basic things like, handshakes, I think is a big one. Did you know that actually, I think in the original rulebook and its early iterations, they had a duelist etiquette section. I have not read the rulebook recently, I have no clue if that's still a thing, but I do think that some of the things in it should still apply. Originally you were supposed to shake your opponent's hand at the start of a match. Do people do that? No. Is it really like a big deal that they don't? No. But I do think that shaking somebody's hand at, say, the end of a match is a bigger deal. That's something that I see a lot of players not do. I've seen so much rage quitting. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game that, I get it, it's very luck-based, there's a lot of jank, a lot of ways to feel like you got cheated off from a win, or feel like you kind of got sacked or you didn't get the card you wanted, and it can be frustrating, but I play some competitive games, like Smash Brothers is kind of a thing I compete in a lot, and a couple of other things that I watch and follow, and the ability to stay calm and reasonably polite after a loss is huge. I think that so many people it's difficult, I've seen lots of rage quitting. It's not actually so frequent anymore, but I still have seen just lots of rage quitting. Rage quitting where people, really do just, pound their fist on the table, or, just flip their hand and they just get sick of it, or they scream out loud. And I get it, when you invest a lot of time and effort and money into this game and you feel like you got janked out, cheated out of a win, it is frustrating. But I do think that common courtesy dictates you should always offer a handshake. You should always, let them, just a simple GG's, like, good game. Let them know that it was fair, it was fun, it was what it was. And even if it's not, right? Like, that's something that I understand can be really difficult to stick to, but I think that common courtesy is just to offer a handshake. And not many people really think of the handshake thing so much, but I think that most people will say, like, good game. I think that just being able to control your emotions and be polite to your opponent after a game is really a big deal. Some small mid-game things that come to mind are just things like, not slow playing. That's a big popular one. I think that you owe your opponent the respect of not, purposefully playing slowly for the sake of running out the clock, and not rule sharking is a big one. Not cheating, of course. But little etiquette might be just stuff like offering your opponent to cut your deck after you search, or, politely asking your opponent if you can see their graveyard instead of, say, grabbing it and just like, let me look through the cards. That's something that actually really peeves me, and I think that a lot of people forget that, Also, when you, say, take control of an opponent's monster, doesn't happen as much these days now that I think about it. But anyway, when you take control of an opponent's monster with, like, let's say mind control, and then you tribute it or you fuse with it, I've seen people literally, like, toss the card over to their opponent's side of the field, just like, or whatever, and that's really rude. Being considerate of your opponent's cards is a big thing in general. So whether you've taken control of an opponent's monster, or you got creature swapped, or you're looking through your opponent's graveyard and like you handled their cards well, that's something that people get very angry about whenever their cards go, get bent or anything like that. But people don't often think about their opponent's cards. Treating your opponent's cards with some respect. You know how angry you would be if something happened to your cards. And by extension, this seems minuscule, but it happens, is not like eating on a playmat, not having a drink, right beside the mat where things are happening, and if it spills over, that could mean ruining somebody's property, you know, that's something that's actually a really big deal. And I think that, you know, it's often overlooked. Outside of the game, like with say trading, I think a lot of people, I see this as rude, and you guys might not, but I think it's, you know, rude when people say, you know, just kind of, well, asking somebody for a trade when they're already in the middle of a trade, that might not be so much rude as much as it is just like not necessarily being context aware. But you know, the general rule is trade with one person at a time. So if you see somebody trading or playing, especially, asking them for another trade is a little unreasonable. It's not like, you know, that makes you a bad person, but it's just something that you probably shouldn't do. But asking people, you know, valuing people's cards for them, I think is something that's very rude. You know, like when you tell someone this is how much your card's worth, like, hey, your card is worth $7. Like, I am the authority on prices for your cards or your values, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is such a value-based game when it comes to trading, that, you know, I really feel like when you are telling somebody what their cards are worth, that's really rude. Pulling people's cards out of their binders when they ask you not to. And then, you know, on the other hand, I think that it's actually not great trading etiquette to even include cards in a trade binder that aren't for trade. This is a pet peeve of mine. When people, you know, have cards in their binder that they offer you for trades, but then say like, oh, that's not for trade, that's not for trade, I'm building things with that. It's like, well, leave it at home. So that's something. And then just general lying to people. I think, you know, people should always be able to make their own decisions about the values of their cards or the value of a card in competitive play. So like when someone's saying like, oh, I want to try this card out in a deck, I think it's rude to tell somebody up front, that sucks, why are you playing it? That to me is just disrespectful. Like, people have preferences. I'm always alarmed at how quickly some players, arrogant ones, are to just say that somebody is wrong. Somebody is not, you know, they shouldn't play this, playing this is a bad idea, and they're a bad person for deciding to do it. You know, how can we ever move forward in this game and find that, you know, marvelous hidden gem of a tech card that everybody's looking to find if we just kind of trash talk anybody who tries to be creative and tries to think of things? So that's a big one. But I really want to know, more than anything, what are you guys' personal sort of codes of conduct in Yu-Gi-Oh? Your personal etiquette, things that you just think are obligatory, you know, offering a handshake, or, you know, being polite, not slow playing, not card sharking, being honest about card prices. What is your personal Yu-Gi-Oh etiquette, and what standards do you hold your opponent to? What things, when broken, frustrate you a little bit? What are like sort of those pet peeves that seem a little bit rude or a little bit inconsiderate? And this will vary from person to person. It isn't to say that my code of conduct is the right one, or that everybody should be expected to, you know, offer a handshake at the beginning and end of a game. That's not something that people think about, and it's fine that they don't. But I just want to know what you guys think of it, because I've seen some very rude players, and I think that, you know, it's obviously not something that can be enforced, but more people need to understand and respect general sort of common courtesies, I'd like to say. So that's it for the video. Remember to leave your thoughts in the comments below, and also check out my TCG Player gift card giveaway. 10 lucky people will win a $20 gift card each to TCG Player to spend on singles or any other card game products that they want. And also, if you'd like to support me, you can buy a Team APS playmat. A link to that's also in the description. And you can follow me on social media. And most importantly, if you like my Yu-Gi-Oh videos, you can subscribe, because I upload new ones every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, at least when I can. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. I hope you guys liked it. I hope this maybe got you thinking, you know, what are the good and bad ways to be a respectful Yu-Gi-Oh player? What are the common courtesies? Like I said, let's talk about them in the comments, and that's gonna be it for today's video. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.